Welcome to our time together. I'd like to talk with you today about some wisdom that we can learn from the Bible's book of Proverbs. And that's appropriate because the whole point of Proverbs is for us to gain wisdom. Specifically, we're going to look at Proverbs chapter 12, verse 16. And here's how it reads. Fools show their annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult. This, by the way, is a good example of the parallelism that we find in Hebrew poetry. The second line either repeats the thought from the first line using different words, or offers a contrast, says the exact opposite. This is an example of contrast. Fools show their annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult. People who are prudent, who are wise, or who are insightful, are able to overlook an insult. They don't feel the need to respond to it. This is sort of a kissing cousin of what Jesus once taught when he told us to turn the other cheek. Get out of the mentality of tit for tat. I'll do to you what you did to me. Fools, on the other hand, are emotionally reactive. They show their annoyance at once. They don't put any thought into how they're going to respond to whatever happens or whatever is said. So let's think for a little bit about what might cause us to be foolish in this way, to be emotionally reactive and not thoughtful. Sometimes we might react quickly and without thinking about something that someone has said to us because of codependency. Now, this is a psychological buzzword that people often use without really understanding it. As I'm using it right now, codependency means I'm relying on you to validate me, to give me my sense of self-worth. I need you to make me feel good about myself. So, if you insult me or criticize me, that means you think I'm no good. And because I'm codependent, if you think I'm no good, then I think I'm no good. Your insults are undermining my self-worth. And that can be true even with constructive criticism, even if someone is offering something meant to be helpful so you can improve yourself. But if you're caught in codependency, you'll lash out at the other person. I want to hurt you the way you hurt me. Or there could be another reason why we might respond emotionally without thinking. It might be because whatever has been said or whatever happens triggers another psychological term that I'll need to explain. It might trigger a complex. A complex is a major unresolved issue in our life that we're only partially aware of, or maybe not even aware of at all. Let me give you a couple examples so you understand what I'm talking about. I recently read a book where the author described having a bad experience with churches and associating that experience in her mind with candles that were there at the church when it happened. She could hardly sit through a Christmas Eve service and all the candles that were there when she was experiencing it later on in life. It wasn't about the candles. It was about what the candles represented. And this response welled up within her without her even realizing why she was feeling it. Or here's another example of what a complex might look like. Imagine that you were mistreated by a police officer as a child. And then as an adult, you get furious when you're pulled over for speeding. When we're talking about complexes, it's not about the candles. It's not about the speeding ticket. It's about something deeper going on inside of us. And if I associate your comment with that issue, my emotions will kick in without my even realizing it. If you want to get an idea whether or not you have a complex that you're dealing with, here's a quick way to think about it. Are my emotions stronger than what the situation warrants? If I'm acting like a fool and I get annoyed or and I blow it way out of proportion, then it might be good for me to be prudent and look at myself to be able to understand why this is happening. Now, this can also happen without using these psychological buzzwords I've just thrown out. Sometimes we respond to someone's words strongly and without thinking for much simpler reasons. It could just be your pride and arrogance. When you're so full of yourself, you can't imagine having any flaws that anyone could criticize. Or your ego may be so fragile that you can't tolerate having anyone see anything other than perfection in you. A strong emotional reaction could also happen for the exact opposite reason. Maybe you think so poorly of yourself, you don't see any worth or value in who you are. And in this case, you will take to heart every insult and criticism, no matter how minor, because they chip away at what little self-esteem you have, and it crushes you. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 16 tells us, "Fools show their annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult." To sum it all up, if you're prudent or wise or insightful, you have emotional maturity and the ability to be self-reflection, to self-reflect on yourself. You're not controlled by what people say to you or about you, and you're confident enough in yourself not to feel the need to respond in kind. If you are prudent or wise or insightful, you understand yourself well enough to recognize what is happening when tempers flare. And if you don't understand what's happening, then you're curious, because that strong emotional response is an opportunity for you to understand yourself better. Fools, on the other hand, don't take the time to understand what's happening inside of them. And as a result, they can be manipulated and irritated by people around them without even knowing why it happens. They lash out at other people when the real issue is inside your own spirit. Would you pray with me, please? Lord, help us to be prudent, to be wise and insightful, so that when we feel strong emotions arise within us, especially stronger than what the situation warrants, we will recognize it as an opportunity to come to understand ourselves better and to overlook whatever is happening. But Lord, forgive us when we are foolish, when we lash out with annoyance or anger or pain immediately without even thinking about what has happened. Help us know ourselves better, Lord, so that we can offer ourselves to you more fully. Amen. Thanks for joining me. We'll talk again later.